Hello and welcome. I have seen here that Big Slice has closed. What is Big Slice? This is what I considered to be the best pizza place that I have ever been to. But it says Big Slice on Yonge Street closes after 40 years. And this is about a year or so old. I was in Toronto about 3-4 months ago, and I was about maybe 4 or 5 city blocks, maybe even a couple 3 away. I was parallel to the area of this street. And I thought, you know what? I'm hungry. Man, every time I get the opportunity to eat here, I always did. I went to school here in the year 1994, just a couple blocks away. So this was a place I ate at several times a month. It was just a little bit more from those places like Pizza and 2 for 1, which were they were nowhere near as good. These slices here, there was so many different kinds. Even a lot of the other foods. Like there was some good panzerottis, but awesome food. It was my favorite pizza, and it's closed. And even before I go to where I moved to, I live just a block and a half away. So when I try to find the street image where I can see the intersection, let's see if I can find one. Well, maybe they don't have it. I thought I seen it when I originally searched. But just out here, just a block and a half away, was a place called Neil Wysick, which is where I lived. In fact, once I was at a bar just 2 or 3 places south from that pizza place, the closest bar south of it. And me and my friends were like, hey, let's take a taxi home. It's a 2-minute walk, not even. This building here, in fact, my bedroom was just a little left to that little area here. Interesting room, 22 stories. One of the most scariest incidences that I ever had was that one of my neighbors who shared a bunk with somebody else, I had my own personal one as well. I shared it with 5 other people. 4 of us had a personal one. 2 people shared one room. It was interesting when then we shared 2 bathrooms and 1 kitchen and a living room, if you call it such. $312 a month. And I had to work my ass off at a factory to do such. But anyway, as far as that was concerned, it was a little fun. But yeah, one of my friends managed to have the guts to go on top of this building. You can go on the roof anytime. In fact, it was so 1990s when if you wanted, you could actually sit on it, where you could put like 1 foot on one side, 1 foot on the other, which one of my roommates did. Scared the living crap out of me. He did it for about 20 seconds. But that's where I started living on my own for my first time when I was 18 years old. So a lot of alcohol memories come from there. A lot of other drugs as well, with a lot of other people probably experienced as well as they start their adulthood lives. It was pretty fun. But I remember getting really drunk. You get so drunk in a 30-minute span, you'd throw up, you'd walk to the pizza place, you'd eat pizza, and then you feel completely sober. What a rush, basically, that it had. In fact, what was fun was that the 20th floor, there was a laundromat in which there was one dryer, only one of them, that had an error where if you put 1/4 in it, which normally would give you like 15 or 20 minutes or however much it was, would give you like 240 minutes or some sick large number. So the play was, oh, sweet. So you do your laundry at like 2, 3 in the morning or just whatever you see no one's doing it. And I could get that dryer so many times. I mean, it was like the gold that people were trying to get, because now when you do your entire laundry, you only pay 1/4 to dry the entire bit. Sometimes I would take it and just start drying like almost nothing. Maybe put like dirty clothes in it just to own the dryer as I'm starting the washer. So I have like 30 minutes of the dryer doing nothing just so I would own it. It was really fun. I guess they don't have a picture of it, but that was the start of the living experience. Then I moved. I was going to George Brown, the King Street campus, and it was tough because it was a good 20-minute walk south of here. It was about 3 city blocks away, or what 3 subway spots would be. But the problem is I'd have to walk to the street where Big Slice was on, and then I'd have to go south of Big Slice, another decent size block, just to get to the Dundas subway station. I would take it south through just 2 spots to King, and then I'd have to walk a decent amount going east to get to the campus. It was a long walk. So the next time that I lived in Toronto, I went a little north. And where I was before, the Big Slice is practically right in the middle between College and Dundas. It's off Gerrard. It's right in the middle, and that's why if you have to go through Dundas, Queen, and King. So you'd only go through the couple spots to get to where it needed to go. I then would move up to where DuPont subway station is. And I lived 1 town block east of such. For this I lived right where my mouse is, somewhere around here. And the subway station is where the M is. And there's where George Brown Casa Loma campus is. So it was a very quick walk. In fact, it was so cool. I'd just get up in the morning, take a very quick shower, take a quick bite to eat, and I was at the door in like 15-20 minutes. 8 o'clock classes. I didn't want to get up too early. Back in that day, I liked sleeping into 11 or noon. That's not anymore, but that's just the way it was. And yeah, it was a quick walk, but I'd see people get out of the subway, and I'm thinking, man, I'm just getting ready, and man, you got to get up a lot earlier. I just thought that was cool back then. And if I click on the street view, times have changed so much. They really, really have. So this is probably now the LCBO. Yes, this was a grocery store. I think it might have been a Dominion or within that type of affiliate. And that was an amazing location for me in a grocery store. No car, and even a bike. I had the bike in the summertime. But this was the street in which I lived, Madison Avenue. And this was a very low-end convenience store. So I'm like maybe 4 or 5 houses off on this street. That's really quick. So I had this is no longer a convenience store. So this was convenient. There was an amazing burger restaurant just a couple blocks away. Again, a very quick walk. It looks like it's abandoned today. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It still says hamburgers and food on it. But the best hamburgers I have ever ate are here. Whether they're still in business or not, I don't know. This was not in business back then. There should be a laundromat nearby, at least for when I did my laundry. It'd be a little south of here. I didn't want to do that. I'm on McPherson. I never went on McPherson. I remember that name, but I was never walking in this area. Ever. That's just DuPont, Spadina, Madison. Huron Street, well, that was just my neighbor's street. There was nothing on it. So then, yeah, this is Madison Avenue. So I lived down here. This was, again, a very low-end convenience store. And it's fun. There was no speaking English with that guy. The music was very Middle East, Indian-ish based. I don't remember the Wellness Center. I don't remember Polish Me. Subway was most certainly not there. But this D&D, I think it had a different name. But that was the place that would have, it was like a hasty market. I don't think they had any fruits. The only place I got fruits and vegetables was that grocery store. It worked out that I really didn't have to go too far unless I had to. There was the only thing there wasn't was a pharmacy nearby. Blockbuster is about 5 town blocks, 2 city blocks away from this light. Blockbuster there is no longer in business. This subway station, I can remember walking down this door, going to the steps to the point where, I don't know, so many times, but even when I would go on any other subway, I could get it so that I would get out the perfect door so that I would have the shortest walk from the subway to in here, and I could time which subway car to get on every single time perfectly. But it made it perfect for me as everything I needed was in short distance. And one of the most amazing experiences I ever had was, I had a bicycle at this time because it wasn't too far away. So if I can go to this map again. I basically took Madison. I got to Yonge Street. Well, I'll just do the subway map. That would be the easiest. Okay, I'll use it. This is not the TTC image. Yes, so I'm at DuPont. Right around Wellesley is where I had to go to. So I ended up taking my bike towards this place one time. But first I think I either walked or I took a subway because one of my friends from college was like, man, there's a great place here, a video game store. Now this place would most certainly not be in business unless they somehow find a way to adjust to the message of business changes. But this is 1999. So I go to this upper floor business. And it's like a rental store, and you can buy video games. You got the boxes of, and it's PC. It's none of this system of PlayStation or any of that type of stuff. So I'm interested in the games. Just renting them is pretty cool because at that point there was even ways of installing it and making copies. I remember as a kid, the Commodore 64 throughout the late 80s, early 90s, me and friends at lunchtime would share discs back and forth, and there was a copier program. We could copy them onto discs. It was so fun, but this was bringing me back memories to then. And then I found out about the back room. It was behind black curtains. I got behind there. It was like, there was 16 computers. They had network games, and this is when I was starting to get very good at the game StarCraft Brood War. In fact, I was just learning it at the time, and I was just learning Brood War. In fact, I went there to play because the only game I had was the regular StarCraft, which was played at the school. I managed to get a copy of it through the school to play on my own computer, but the expansion was so much better. So I went to this place just to play the video game. Then I finally bought it there, and then became a legend amongst non-Koreans at that game. And quite frankly, I've never ever seen anything like it in my life, because there was another day where maybe a month later after I bought the game, where I basically went one block this way and down this way to another person from the school who was an Asian. And the stereotype was, out of the top 1,000 players, all the top players are Asians, and then us non, we're nowhere near as good. And when I played at the highest level, I learned that for certain. But it was fun. It was really fun. So I have an opportunity for only one night to go to this one guy's room, which is pretty cool, and we're playing the game, and I'm actually watching a legend, if you will, go on there and thinking, oh my goodness, now I thought I was pretty good at this game, and wow, he was magnificent. But that was the Toronto life, and no longer big slices around. Now, this has got nothing to do with charts, and I'm just doing this video because I feel like doing it. And if someone wants to watch it, great. If 20 people enjoy this, that's awesome. And if I can help 1 or 2 people when looking for a place to live, realize what's around them, is it a great spot? Now, my apartment was, second time was like $500 a month, and it was basically as small as you could possibly get. But it managed to work for me about 20 years ago. I had an idea about 8, 9 years ago, maybe 10, probably not 10, 8 or 9, that The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak was becoming so legendary that why not they do something like create a WrestleMania title? And you should never ever give a title to someone. You always have some sort of competition for the first inaugural winner, but if there was ever anyone who deserved to be handed one, who actually deserved it, it would have been this character in kayfabe. But I'm going to talk later about an idea that I think would be very interesting, but not for many days. And the idea I had then with this was create the title, then every year it has to be defended. And if it can't be defended, it has to be defended by somebody else. So it's always on the line every year. So if you win it, like Brock Lesnar took it away from him, that means the next year after that, Brock Lesnar would defend it. So you always have an amazing main event on top of the stuff you normally would have. That was my idea, knowing that The Undertaker's going to have to go one way or another, so that belt is eventually going to have to go off him, which makes it really fun how you would play it. But of course, that idea is no longer active now that Mark Calloway is getting as old as he is. So I'll talk more about this idea. Hopefully someone who's rich maybe might take the idea upon themselves and actually do it. So thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.